There's a couple of guys I think that they might have to trade up for. And, you know, and this is where I look at like, you know, with Cross, say the offensive tackle from Mississippi State. And I mentioned Cross just because Charles Cross, because of Mississippi State, and I've reached out to my gang of 7 because I haven't seen any information or anything that leads me to believe that Charles Cross is going to be there at 24. I just don't.
Yeah.
I have nothing. There's no, hey, Broaddus, I heard this, or hey, Broaddus, he's got an issue, or hey, Broaddus, there's a court case we haven't heard about. Okay. Charles Cross. I mean, he's like a guy that's always been a top 10 guy. So I'm sitting there thinking, okay, is there a spot though where Charles Cross could land where the Cowboys might try and go get Charles Cross? And so I was, you know, thinking about that. I was also thinking about, though, how about the defensive tackle Jordan Davis from Georgia? And I'm thinking of him, like, initially it was like, okay, probably a guy the Cowboys would consider at 24, and then he goes and runs 4.78 at the combine, and you're like going, well, wait a minute, probably not going to be there. You know, there's some teams that probably really like this guy. Baltimore at 14 might like this guy, you know, that kind of stuff. So, you know, Dallas is visiting some guys that might give you a hint that they might have to trade up. Chris Olave might be a trade-up guy, you know. He might be, you know, when you look at his situation, stuff like that, if you really want, I kind of felt like that he was going to be there, you know, at 24, but, you know, with the way he works out, the way the tape is, might be a trade-up guy.
I think how this thing is flowing, it matches up really well with the idea of a trade-up because the Cowboys really want to get a good offensive lineman.
Yeah.
And you can't get one at 24.
Right, right.
Know?
To me, Cross is, I would just go ahead and plug Cross in at right tackle. And Jerry Jones even mentioned it in, you know, at the combine stuff. Not the combine, but the post when he had some interviews and stuff. You know, he talked about offensive tackle as being a potential spot. And it got me thinking, okay, here they bring in Charles Cross. And I'm thinking, well, okay, you draft Charles Cross, you put him at right tackle, and then Steele becomes your swing tackle.
Was Cross a right tackle in college?
He was a left tackle.
Okay.
He was a left tackle. So what happens is, and you know what's going to happen, Tyron Smith is going to get hurt. We all know that.
I thought maybe if they draft him, they move on from Tyron Smith.
Could very well happen.
Yeah.
Could very well happen. But I think this would be a thing where you might go ahead and plug in Cross at right tackle for a year, get him acclimated, and then move on from Tyron, and then you can do what you want with Steele. But I just think that you're going to have to trade up to get a guy like that. I think you might have to trade up to get Olave. I think you might have to trade up to get Drake London as another guy that people are talking about on their board that they brought in. But that's kind of where it's at right now. But to your point, okay, I'm going to give you a couple spots, and you tell me, Gavin, if you're interested in doing this or not.
Okay.
Okay. And I took it all the way to 11. I took it all the way to 11, from 24 to 11, because things, you know, once you go any further than that, going up any further, it just becomes like you're giving up really your whole draft to make it happen. But I'm trying to get to the Commanders at 11. And people say, well, man, they're not going to trade with a team that's within the division, stuff like that. Well, if you offer enough, people listen. So would you listen to me if I offered you my pick, my number 24, which is a first-round pick, and my number 56, which is a second-round pick? So that would be the difference on the trade is about 5-10 on the points. And I'm going to need both. I'm going to need that 56 and the 24 both to get there. Are you interested in
the first and the second get you all the way to 11?
Get you all the way to 11.
Yeah, that would be really exciting, I think, because now you get a legitimate first-round player, maybe the tackle on the defensive side, on the offensive side. I like all those players. And
it gives you more options.
I think it makes a lot of sense for Washington because they get an extra 2. I know it's in division, but they can get a wide receiver at 24,
Absolutely.
And that's what they need.
Absolutely, they could. You're right about that. Okay, Minnesota at 12. I'm going to have to offer my 24, my 56, which is the 1 and the 2. But they're going to have to probably kick me back a 5 because we're going to overpay pretty big on this one to get to the 24. But then to get to that spot, we're probably going to have to go a little heavier than normal. The differential on that is 460. So I might have to go with the 1 and the 2 again. It probably keeps you in that position you were talking about, maybe getting the offensive or defensive tackle there.
Yeah.
So I think you're in for that. If they say, okay, we'll take your 1 and your 2, we'll kick you back a 5.
I wonder what the truckwreck.com fan techs or the Twolos are thinking about this right now. The idea of giving up the 1 and the 2 to get high enough to take a guy with much more star potential in the first round.
Cross, Jordan Davis, somebody like that, absolutely. I'm interested in that.
And the Cowboys trade up. The Cowboys trade up a lot.
They do. They do. Okay, now here's where it starts to become a little bit more interesting. To get to Houston at 13, kind of looking at giving up number 24. Giving up number 129, which is a 4th, and giving up going up 167, which is a 5th. So a 1, a 4, and a 5th to go up to 13.
Oh, that's easy. A 1, 4, and a 5?
Yep.
Oh, I love that. That's where I want to go.
Okay.
I'll take the best player from there and keep my 2.
So far, I haven't scared you at all.
No.
I haven't scared you at 11. I haven't scared you at 12. I haven't scared you at 13.
No, it's massively important that they start getting quality offensive linemen, or you're saving Dak's career right now is what we're doing, Brian.
Okay. That number 14 is the Baltimore Ravens. If I give them just my second-round pick, the differential is 360. My second-round pick's worth 340. I think we could call that an even deal. Would you be interested in just moving to 14 now to get? Now you still you still think you're going to get your offensive tackle?
I like this a lot, man. I thought we were going to have to give up a lot more to move this kind of range.
Yeah.
So yeah, those are easy, and until I get to a point where Jordan Davis, the linebacker, and Cross are all, was it Lloyd?
Yeah.
Lloyd's the linebacker, Davis is the defensive tackle, and Cross. Until I get to a point where I don't think one of those 3 is going to be on the board.
Yeah.
Then I'm willing to trade up. I think where we become more interesting is if the other team wanted to drive a hard bargain and force me to overpay even more, like 1, 2, and 3.
Yeah, I
think that'd be my breaking point.
Yeah, see, I'm trying to get it right now to where the chart would be pretty even, and I'm working off the Cowboys chart too, and so that's so picks 11, 12, 13, 14. You're still in the game. You still want to go.
Oh yeah,
we're still going. Okay.
Yeah.
Philadelphia's next at 15. Okay, now that we would have to give up our second-round pick again, that would be a huge overpay right there.
So you're giving up just your 2? No,
just your 2, and they're going to kick us back a 5.
Oh, okay.
So we're going to get.
I don't want to trade with them for that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
They're the first deal that I don't like.
Okay, because you don't want to do anything for Philadelphia, right?
I don't want to do anything with Philadelphia, and I want to lose 56.
Okay.
Those picks inside the top 100 can turn into something.
Okay. New Orleans would be the next team at 16. Okay, now we got to start to think about we might be in the range of losing this offensive tackle.
Yeah.
We might be in the range of losing the defensive tackle. We're looking at that linebacker. Are we interested in trading up for that linebacker, Lloyd? We're still in?
Yeah.
Because I described him yesterday to you as a player comp potentially to Michael Parsons.
Yeah.
And you kind of looked at me like, really?
Yeah.
I can maybe get a Michael Parsons? Okay.
Yeah. I mean, I'm really looking at the offensive line, but the other way you could win is by building in such an insane defense.
Yeah.
And I think getting either Lloyd or Davis moves a big step in that direction.
Okay. So we're probably going to lose Davis. We're probably losing Davis. We probably lost Cross. We're probably now in the mode of, okay, now we're looking at Olave if you want to do the wide receiver. You're probably not interested. You're going to sit there and maybe hope that Burks might be the guy that I think is going to be there more than Olave. So,
yeah, I absolutely don't want to trade up for a wide receiver.
Okay.
That would be crazy.
So
that just seems like Twilight Zone type of stuff. I wish I could put it past the Joneses, but I can't.
So you're in that mode right now that you're only looking at the offensive lineman and the tackle, and then you're looking at the defensive tackle. And really, where I've stopped you is right around 15.
Yeah.
So if they have opportunity to get to 16 at New Orleans, 17 with the Chargers, 18 again with Philadelphia,
if guys are on the board, that makes a ton of sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't want to get there and have taco vibes like, we need a guard, so we're taking this guy.
Yeah.
It's really more of a second-round player than a first-round player. I just think that would be a nightmare to pick for need and then not even fill the need.
Right.
When you could have tied a 4 or a 5 to it, moved up a few spots, and got a real impact player there inside the top 20.
I like what you're doing because I think, to me, the only 2 players that they brought in that would be worth trading up for are the 2 you mentioned. To me, on my board, Cross and also Jordan Davis. Those would be the only 2 guys that I'd be mentioning. Now, I love Lloyd. I'm going to take a shot with him being there. I'm going to take a shot with Olave. Drake London, I feel like I can get somebody with Burks or somebody very similar to that.
Yeah.
But I think that I'm gonna have a shot at Green or Zion Johnson at my spot.
Well,
So
I always love when you can walk us through things like that. I think it's exciting, and I think I'm officially on team trade up.
you're on team trade up if it's for an offensive tackle or
the big man.
Or the big man. And your level of interest stops right about 15 at Philadelphia.
Yep, that's right.
Okay.